Hi guys, it's Tom here, and today I want to make a very different video. Normally my videos are just about zombies or Smite or something, some video game that, sure, may be entertaining for about the 10 people that watch it, but that's it. I want to make a serious video now addressing the zombies community which I was a part of for a long time. And let's talk about zombies in general. The idea was very simple, and I've played zombies basically since I was in primary school. And you just try and survive for as long as you can, right? And for me, that's all it was. Maybe I would play with four friends from school and would get, let's say, round 26 camping the catwalk on Derice, and that's fair enough. It was fun. We'd die on 26. We'd try again. Maybe we'd get to 27. That was it. It was just fun. And when you failed, you failed. You know it was inevitable. You know you were going to die around 26, 27, 28 on the catwalk. But you just saw how long you could do it. There's never this idea of training for me anyway. The game was not taken very seriously. There was no strategy really. It was just camping for as long as you could. And eventually you died, and it was just accepted. But I started to notice that my team was letting me down. I felt like I could play better by myself. So I started playing solo games. Initially, I found it hard, but then I found on YouTube these other people playing solo games. And then I tried my own strategies, and the idea of training came from different people at different times. I know the Syndicate Project was someone that popularized it, but I know there were other groups in the zombies community that did that. And I found that, and then I played Kino the Totem, and I got round 50. I was really happy with myself. That was the highest that any of my friends had got. And I felt like I'd achieved something at round 50. People in my school would try and beat it, but they failed, and I would try again. And then I remember I got 63 on Kino, I got 69 on Kino, and I kept trying, and I would get higher and higher. And then eventually I started talking to these people through my YouTube channel, and they were playing on PC. They were part of a clan called the Zombie Whisperers. Certainly, this guy called Raygun, and he introduced me to people like the Mufos and Subtle and other guys in this Zombie Whisperers clan. I thought these guys are great. They play on PC. They're a lot better than me. I can learn something. And I was playing on PS3 at the time, so I thought I'll switch to PC, and I can play with these guys, and that'll make me more happy, right? Because I can play zombies with these guys and learn something and get better at the game. Because surely getting to a higher round makes you more happy, doesn't it? You feel like you've achieved something. But sadly, that was not the case. After I found out after a long time. But before that, I joined this community, and it was very competitive. They had strict rules. It wasn't just, you play zombies, you want to get better, sure, join our clan. It was, no, you have to have this co-op average. You need to have 50 co-op average. You need to have 50 on these maps, or you're not good enough to play with us and join the zombies community. And it put a lot of pressure on people. I remember I tried to get 50 co-op with a friend IRL, Suburb809, many times, and we'd fail, and we couldn't get anywhere, and it was upsetting really. And I tried to play solo, and I would do okay. I would say, let's say get to round 80 when that actually meant anything, and I thought, oh right, I've achieved something, but not quite achieving my goals. And it's about who has 100 solo on this, who has 70 co-op on this, or 50 co-op or something. So I tried, and eventually I was able to get some rounds. I remember I got 100 on Ascension solo. I got some round on Shinonima. I think it was 100. I did Shinonima, and then I tried again, and I got a higher round. I felt like I was getting somewhere, but there's still a lot of pressure. It's still escaping me. Was this desire to be recognised as somebody by the zombies community? I wanted, in a way, validation that I was in fact a good player, that I could be part of this clan called the Zombie Whisperers, and then that would make me a better player, right? But it's not really about the clan. And you see, a lot of us were sort of teenage boys, and we're quite competitive. Lots of testosterone running about. Most of us didn't go outside that much. We played a lot of zombies, and we're always trying to outdo each other. Like this person got 100, this person got 101. Oh, they beat them, you know. Not that there's any really intrinsic difference between getting 100, getting 101. It didn't really matter what strategy you ran as long as you did it, because people didn't know about PC resets. People didn't really get reset at all. It's like, I did 100, you did 101, I'm better than you. Well, not really. You just did the exact same thing for a bit longer. But still, there was this desire to be recognized. And that led me down a dark path. Before I say this, I would like to preface it with many of the games of zombies that I've played were legitimate games of zombies. Just off the top of my head, 153 on Shi No Numa, that's legitimate. I'm 90 something on Verrucht, is my highest legit round. I have 90 something on Moon, is my highest legit round. I think I have 100 on Kino the Toten legit. I don't know. I know for sure that a lot of my games were not entirely legitimate. I would play a high round completely legitimately, and let's say die on 90 or something. I thought, no, I want to get 100. I want to be recognized by these people. So what I would do was I would go back to the point in the game to 90 or something, hack there, and then play legitimately from 90 just so I could see that 100 on my scoreboard and be happy with it. But it didn't really make me a better player. No, it didn't. And sure, I hacked these rounds, and I got accepted as part of the community as this player that's a decent player. And then, you know, like, great. But no, it didn't make me a better zombies player. It didn't change anything about me. But it made me somewhat happier at the time because I was accepted by a community. But I felt that I was just drove to this by people that are so judgmental. Oh, you don't have 50 on this map. Well, you're not good enough to play with me, or something like that. And it didn't just affect me, it affected people I knew IRL, like my friend John, or Silver809, who doesn't mind me saying this, but I started to saying things to him. Oh, you don't have 50 on these maps, like, I'm not going to play with you anymore. And is that what Zombies was about? Surely it was about having fun with your friends and seeing the highest that you could get, or playing a solo and seeing the highest you could get. It's not about, oh, you don't have 50 on Kingdom Totems, we're not going to play with you. And that led him to hack some games on Kingdom of the Totem and on Ascension. And I saw these games and I saw they weren't legitimate. And I called him out on it. And we had an argument about it because he didn't want to admit that it wasn't legitimate. And I was offended that he would try and cheat his way when other people were playing legitimately, even though I wasn't always playing legitimately myself. And it just led to me cheating stupid things. Like, obviously, I can play the game and I can get 100 on Keenan the Totem, but the frustration of not being accepted in the community led me to hack 100 before I did it legitimately. And this, it's just like, it's not that I don't have the skill to do it, it was this desire to be accepted that made me hack it just so I could get it out the way faster. And before you say anything, you know, just dismiss me as not a legitimate player. Yes, I did cheat some games, but at the same time, I've done some things that I'm very proud of. 176 on Ascension. It feels like a personal achievement of mine. I hit insta-kill rounds, and that game was completely legitimate. Similarly, 73 on Shi No Numa was, with no Juggernog, was legitimate as well. But other games I've played were not legitimate. And it was small things, really, just so I could be accepted by this group of people in the community. And there's this real stigma in the community of, oh, once a cheater, always a cheater, but that's not the case. It's more like once wanting to be accepted, always wanted to be accepted. And now I'm going to talk to a long-time friend of mine from the zombies community, Ploproth, and we're going to talk about this together. So this is Ploproth, a former member of the zombies community and long-time friend of mine. And to say hi, Ploproth.
Doing? How are you doing?
So today I just wanted to talk about the pressures in the zombies community. So,
Well,
sorry, go on.
it is a very competitive community, and to me, that sort of competitive environment is usually what breeds toxicity. I mean, look at League of Legends, look at Smite, look at, Dota, whatever. All toxic due to the fact that it's so competitive. You don't see that toxicity with games that aren't competitive, and I feel like that's the thing that actually makes it so toxic.
It's not just that; it was the lack of knowledge as well. I thought because do you remember back in the day when people didn't know about PC resets? Like they were telling us playing on PC is not legit, and there was a massive sort of argument, wasn't there, between the people on console and the people on PC.
I was pretty much the guy actually that like proved once and for all that PC resets happen because a lot of people didn't believe it when it happened to Jog, but then it happened to me as well. I think I was like one of the first people it happened to, and then they actually believed it, so I was very much aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I know I certainly got involved in it myself, like the toxicity between players. Like I rack 'em up on console, and it led me to do a lot of immature things, like the I fag 'em up channel and stuff like that.
That was pretty funny.
Well, yeah,
No,
but at the same time, it's pretty pathetic, really, isn't it? This argument between PC players and console players.
well, to be fair though, I don't think that's unique to the zombie. Well, I mean, the zombies community is unique, and right. So there's always been like a strife since gaming PCs have become viable, between PC and console players on which is the superior platform. And the thing is that Zombies is frankly one of the only games where you can be competing against PC players while playing on the console. Like there is CS:GO for example for console, but you're never gonna get the same skill level as you are on PC. But in Zombies, you can play at the same high level on console and actually compete with PC players, which you can't do in other games. So I feel like really it's just a manifestation of the overarching sort of conflict between console and PC gamers, how they hate on each other. Like console players calling PC players elitists, and then you have the whole PC master race thing, literally calling console players scum. I mean,
Yeah,
it,
I mean, another thing that I wanted to address, I think you've put that very well. Another thing I want to address is this sort of like, oh, you don't have 50 on this map, like I'm not going to play with you. Do you ever experience any of that?
I did not. I mean, I don't really know what you mean. Are you saying like somebody won't play with me because I have 100 on Kino, but I don't have 50 on Shang? Or like, what are you saying?
Well, I remember when I first started playing on PC, I didn't have like any co-op rounds because I had no one good to play with, and people were like, "Oh, you don't have any good rounds, so like, I'm not going to play with you."
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
It's like how are you supposed to get good rounds if no one is willing to play with you?
Well, it's sort of
And
mentality that noobs should only play with other noobs. Sorry
yeah,
for cutting you off by the way, but yeah, that is what it is.
I remember the first time I spoke to you, you were like trying to sell me no dogs on Derice, and it's just
Damn
like,
it! I knew you'd bring that up.
but it's just like you know, we were sitting in TeamSpeak, and this guy joins. It's like, oh yeah, you need to run no dogs in Derice. Like, who the fuck is this? Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's not be friends with him. I remember when I first met you, I hated you. Did you remember that?
I mean, did you really hate? That sounds like a very strong word, isn't it? Hate.
I mean, it's like this guy. He doesn't have a fucking clue what he's on about. He's coming in here trying to tell me what to do. Like tell me to run the strategy and like asking to play and stuff. It's like no, and but really it shouldn't be like that. It should be oh, there's this guy who's who's new to this zombies community in terms of high rounds and stuff. Like surely we should try and show him the right way to do things. And but play with him, you know. But people are like, oh, this person doesn't have this round, so I don't want to play with you. It's real. What's the word? Arrogance. Like, there's a lot of arrogance in the zombies community. But I believe it drove so many people to hacking. I mean, I talked about me earlier, feeling like people wouldn't play with me because you didn't have this, and I wasn't accepted by the PC community in the zombie whisperers and stuff because I didn't have these like 50 on this round or that round, on this map
Well,
or that map.
it is true they are not accepting at all of new players.
So
And
I felt like after hacking some games of zombies, it didn't make me a better player, but all of a sudden people accepted me, so I felt happier. It's just a desire for acceptance within the community. I felt drove this sort of thing.
it does, it definitely does. And the thing as well is I mean, there are some people though, I gotta say, like shout out to Zach now that I think about it. I mean, those guys are like trying to get noobs into the community without all this toxicity surrounding them. As much as we make fun of Zach, they are at least trying to do it. Gotta admit.
Yes, and Zach is actually a force for good. I mean, I'm a member of Zach at the moment because I wanted to a fresh start really because I've cheated in some games in the past, played a lot of games legitimately, but I wanted a fresh start, a clean slate. And like people ask me, why did you hack 100 solo on 5? It's because everyone had 100 solo on 5, and I wanted to, be part of the club, if you know what I mean. And I couldn't do it myself. Well, I probably could if I'd have put the time in, but I hated the feeling of like, oh, this guy doesn't have 100 on this map. I wanted to be accepted. That's why I did that sort of thing.
Not
And
gonna
I
lie.
felt bad after I did it. I mean, go on. Sorry.
I feel like I missed out on the whole phase of trying to gain people's acceptance, because basically for me it was like within 6 months I got 200, and like I only spoke with other people to shit talk people basically, and like I was the kind of guy that would just constantly be playing and like chugging Red Bulls and just trying to get high rounds without even speaking to other people about the game really. I was just playing more than talking about it, so I never really got into the whole like community not accepting me thing. Although now thinking about it, if I hadn't played as much as quickly as I did, I probably would have. But the fact that I played so much so quickly made it so that by the time people really knew who I was, I had already become known for having gotten the 200. So I could sort of skip that phase. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, to me, it was quite a long transition between sort of playing zombies with like three IRL friends, camping Catwalk on the Reese and getting 26, than like actually playing high runs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I skipped that transition. For me, it was like a month.
I mean, when I first started playing high runs, like there wasn't like, oh, you run this strategy. It was do whatever you want. There was no like, oh, you've got to run this strategy. I mean, I remember my first high round on King of the Toten. I ran this fucking awful strategy that used traps and stuff. And
At least you didn't run stage.
I mean, I did run stage, didn't get very high. I got 29. And I was happy with that. The first time I got 29 solo. That's the highest I ever got in solo. I was happy with that. But then I was like running alley and stuff. And to me, there was the age of discovery of zombies, which perhaps you may have missed out on, where people were discovering the strategies rather than like. I feel like when you joined the zombies community, it was, you run this strategy, and that's it.
Yeah, no, as soon as I joined it, I only ran the fire trap strategy. I don't think I've ever actually tried to play, seriously with any other strategy. Like, as soon as I joined it, I just started doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you see, I like remember running alley on the Toten and shit like that.
Yeah, I feel like I missed out on that age of discovery. I get what you mean.
And that was enjoyable, but then the game for me became not fun. You see, the idea of zombies for me was great in the sense that it was still relatively skill based. It wasn't just endurance based like it is these days. Well, it is skill based in the sense of speed running, but what I mean is, like back in the old days, I sound like an old man saying that, but you could load up a game of zombies, and at the end of the day, you could have a world record,
You could.
and you could do pretty much whatever strategy you wanted to do. like these days, like you don't stand a fucking chance of getting anywhere near the world record if you run alley on Keenan Toten, for instance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and these. Sorry.
and I just like sit back in my chair, you know, relaxing, playing a game of zombie, seeing how high I can get. I don't like this speedrunning shit. Like you do everything perfectly, right? But because you get screwed over with dog rounds on Instagram and something, you're not going to get the world record. I don't like that.
I get what you mean, but to be honest though, I get what you mean with relaxing. I don't think I've ever actually played a solo game where I was trying to go for world record like really sweaty. The sweatiest game I've ever played was trying to get 200 on Ascension, and I wasn't even going for a world record. I just wanted 200. You see, I don't think I've ever played a game to get a record. I just played it for a personal sense of achievement. I've gotten around that I wanted. So, but yeah, also what you said earlier, I wanted to comment on that briefly. How you said you used to be able to get a record in a day. Now it's a week at best.
Yeah,
Like
and you see that. Yeah, go on.
70 plus hours. I mean, you can do that in 3 days if not sleeping. You can't do that. You're gonna die. I mean, even the best player will die if you don't sleep for that long. Do it in 6 to 7 days at best now. You used to be able to do it in under 24 hours. I mean, the bar has just been raised so much. Right, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, you see, that was another problem for me. Like, back in the day, I could play zombies, get a record, whatever. But now it's like people have been reset on Ascension First Room. It's like, what the fuck? First Room is meant to be a bit of fun, you know. You play it for a while. You hold up, you get the 20 or something, like great. But someone's got fucking 60 Ascension First Room reset. Like, what the fuck is that?
That is pretty funny, honestly. For resetting first room, I've gotta say I find that funny.
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, props to the guy that did it, but you know, it's like you've
Yeah.
completely killed that now. No one can ever play Ascension First Room and have a sense of satisfaction.
Right.
Of
Well,
like,
I agree with you that he did wrong, but part of me still thinks like, I mean, the game's come to its logical conclusion when you think about it, hasn't it? I mean, the game has just been out. Like people have gotten the highest possible round on every single map, and in some cases even highest possible round in first room. Like there's nothing left to be done other than like challenges and something, because like people have like they've just made it out to that point. It's reached its logical conclusion. I mean, there's a maximum that you can get everything, right? Like let's say for example a GTA speedrun. There is a time at some point that cannot be beat. There's just a logically possible score on every game, right? Except for something like Tetris or Pac-Man that goes truly infinitely without any
actually,
reset.
no, it doesn't.
Actually,
Pac-Man,
it
there's
does.
the maximum level
Yeah.
is 255.
Okay, well Tetris I don't think has a limit. You can get a high score. Anyway, so yeah, on any game that has like a concept of completion, so you know you speedrun it, or a game that gets reset like Zombies, always a maximum, and I think people have reached that, and the game's pretty much dying because of it, and that's why new players, like before when Black Ops 2 was out, you used to have a lot of people coming to Black Ops 1 still, especially new players who got into it with Black Ops 2 and then wanted to find out what the big deal about Black Ops 1 is, and now with Black Ops 3 there's good players that have never played Black Ops 1 just because they don't see a point of even playing a game where everything's been done, you know.
Yeah, and you see, another problem for me with the community was, going back to what I was saying, like, you could play for a day, whatever, feel happy with whatever round you got, but that's different to now, where, like, let's say the only time I could realistically play a higher end zombies game in a reasonable amount of time would be like during a school holiday or something, right? But like, why am I going to spend fucking 70 hours and then through no fault of my own get screwed over with a dog round or something and not get the world record because of it? Like, I'm not going to do that, just straight up. That just ruined the game for me.
It's even worse than you said, though, to be honest. You don't even necessarily get screwed over by a dog round. I mean, the whole nature of a reset has some inherent randomness that could make the difference between a round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't like that through no fault of your own, you can get screwed over after spending 70 hours. To me, that's not enjoyable, and that's what's really killing the community.
By the way, did we just a question in my own? Did we ever figure out what causes resets and why they're the same on console and PC? So, I mean, I know it's a 32-bit game, but the game never actually uses 4 gigabytes of RAM, but you still reset. Never understood that. Has anybody ever figured that out?
I don't know. Isn't it something to do with maximum RAM allocation for the game or something?
Yeah, but it's a 32-bit program. Really, maximum allocation should be 4 gigabytes.
Well, no, because the PS3 doesn't have 4 gigabytes of RAM, does it?
Oh, that makes sense. That makes
So it's probably
sense.
set to the lowest common
Yeah.
denominator.
Because if you use up all the RAM on a computer system, it'll crash, yeah. That makes sense. I thought about that. I guess all the versions of the game are pretty much the same then. Except for the movement speed thing, which we should also address that at some point.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was sort of looking to cut this off because we're about at 25 minutes, but yeah, a few final points. Firstly, movement speed thing. Why on PC is it not legit to change your movement speed backwards according to going backwards? Why? I mean, surely it should just be the same as everybody else, right? Why should you walk backwards slowly on PC?
I mean, part of me wants to think that it's because console players want an unfair advantage. Part of me also thinks that it's because they have this principle that you can't change anything at all. I mean,
yeah.
some people even say FOV is not legit. I mean, I don't know about you, but playing at 65 FOV literally makes me feel queasy. Like, it actually makes me feel sick playing a shooter at 65 FOV. I can't do it. And so, I don't know, people, they try and, I feel like they try and hinder PC players. I mean, maybe part of it's jealousy. I feel like a lot of console players have moved over to PC, and like they think it's better, you know. Maybe some of it is jealousy, or like the whole rivalry between PC and console that's inherent in video game culture as a general. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they're trying to disadvantage PC players more so than actually having a reason.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the not changing anything in the game, like, what the fuck is the world record on Moon right now? Like, can somebody tell me?
Like, they don't know.
I mean, are there like 5 records on Moon? Like,
I don't know.
If you glitched the astronaut with in the biodome, or if you glitched him, or if you got him stuck with an excavator, or if you didn't do any of that shit, like, what is the world record on Moon? Can somebody tell me?
Listen, I think kind of funny that, but at the same time, I gotta say they did handle it in the best way. I mean, they've just established that different people consider different things for record, and they just have different leaderboards now. I mean, they've just agreed to disagree. In my opinion, that's honestly the most adult thing to do. They've just realized they're never gonna get everyone to agree on the same thing.
If I play Moon, right, and I want to be recognized for the highest round, like, what is the record? Am I going for 158, or am I going for like?
Well, logically, it depends on who you want to be recognized by, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, it's supposed to be a community. Like, surely, can there not be? I don't know. It just fucking bothers me that I don't know what the record is on Moon.
Well, we should also address the whole zombie records thing. I mean, isn't it run by Frenzy now?
I mean, I don't have a fucking clue who's in charge. I mean, like, you're not on leaderboards, are you?
No, because they hate me.
Exactly, that's the problem.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have never hacked a game and claimed it to be legit. That Kino game I did was legit. I have not hacked any games that I claimed were legit. Honestly, I have not. I'm not sure if I still have a recording of that game. I probably have it on a hard drive somewhere in a cupboard, but it wasn't hacked. Like, I don't know what to tell people. It wasn't. I mean, I think the whole thing of me getting banned is because one time in the Twitch chat, like 10 people in it said it was hacked as a joke and then took it back like 2 messages later. And people just use that. Like, I've seen that Gyalzo, people use that as proof, quote unquote, for it being hacked. Like, God, they take themselves so seriously. They're being ironic. Trying to make fun of Wings.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like, we need to address Wings of Oblivion. Like, Jesus Christ. Why do people still feel the need to expose him?
I mean, he's funny. Honestly, I like Wings in a lot of ways. I mean,
like, does anyone even take Wings seriously?
Nah, he's a scumbag, he's a degenerate, he's a jokester, he's a prankster. I don't know anything what's real about him. He claims to be some kind of credit card thief criminal, but I don't even think that's true. I mean, I really don't know, like, what about his identity is even true. I feel like it's all lies. I don't feel like we actually know anything about Wings other than what his face looks like and his hands. I don't think we know his name. I don't think we know what his job is. The only thing we know is like what his face looks like and who his girlfriend is. That's the only thing we know, and that's because he shared that info. But I feel like everything else is just a web of lies. It's like a alter ego. I mean, but yeah, he's just a jokester. He's a prankster. You can't take him seriously. And stop, Dora. This is you. How much time? And I'm making this a question. I want you to reply in the comments or send me a message on Steam. You have me on Steam, right? Plopprof.exe or whatever. Please, if you know that it was Wings that hacked that game, right? I saw your video. How much time did you waste making that video? Because the things, I think it's funny. I really do. I think it's funny you made that. Because Wings of Oblivion, he does not give a fuck. He does not give a shit about you. He does not care if you expose him. He literally plays the game, right? Not to pass off real rounds as legit that have been hacked. He plays the game for hundreds of hours on end while hacking. Now, who does that? It's either somebody who wants approval, which we've established he doesn't want, or somebody who's trolling, right? He's messing with you. It's the most obvious form of bait. It's like going on a forum for virgins and asking them about sexual experiences. God damn it. I mean, it's just a troll, dude. Bro, look at the camera. It's just a social experiment, Like, he's messing with you, and he's got all of you. I mean, I hate to say it, but you're fucking retarded if you fall for his baits. That's all he's doing. Literally what he wanted was you to make that video. He wanted himself to be exposed. I've talked to the guy. I know the guy. That's how he works. He calls you guys quote-unquote sweaty virgins that take the game too seriously. And that's all he does. He gets his kick and his joy in life because he doesn't enjoy playing other video games, I don't think. And he gets his joy and his kicks trolling people that take this game way too seriously. That's what he does. And let's be honest. Wings is a fucking amazing hacker. I mean, the guy, I think he literally learned programming to make hacking tools. If he's gonna hack, he's probably gonna get away with it if he wants to. And
what's stopping him making an alt account as someone who doesn't have a mic or something?
Exactly, and he's proven that he's a good player anyway. That he can play legit. He's proven that before.
He could legit just get half these rounds that he's claiming he's getting. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Besides the reset timing, that's the only thing. But he has the skill to do it.
Like, Sora, what are you trying to prove, dude? Like, are you trying to prove Wings is a hacker? Because everybody knows that. Or are you trying to prove, what are you trying to prove? Because everybody knows he's a hacker. So, I mean, you can't make an assault on his character anymore. Nobody thinks anything of him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much sums up what I think as well. So, do you have any final points to make before I finish this?
Let's see. Oh yeah. Infinity Wood or Treyarch or whatever, please release modding tools for Black Ops 1. So that's never gonna happen. Let's be honest. And
I'm
also,
finally gonna see this video.
Yeah, just a few final bullet points. Take yourselves less seriously. Fall for Wings. Don't be so fucking competitive and stop with PC versus console bullshit. And also accept the fact that FOV and movement speed is legit. It just evens the playing field.
Alright, yeah. Thanks for listening to this, and I hope it's some food for thought at least.
I mean, I feel like a lot of you guys, you're just so, for lack of a better term, up your own asses, burying your head in the sand. You're not taking any of this seriously. You're just gonna think, oh, these are two guys who couldn't handle the bans and left the community or whatever, and who didn't want to play anymore. Like, these are two noobs or something because we don't have all the records. But for the few, I do stress you, actually sane, rational individuals amongst yourselves, please at least consider it food for thought. I mean, I feel like we've made some pretty legitimate points. Don't just disregard it outright because of who we are, because I feel like a lot of you guys are going to do that. Because of who we are, you're going to disregard it. So listen to the message, not the guy saying it.
Right, yep.